My first day at a new job. Have you ever felt like your heart might jump out of your chest? That's exactly how I felt on my first day at my dream job. From embarrassing mistakes to unexpected friendships, this story will take you through every exciting, terrifying, and life-changing moment of that unforgettable day. Stay with me until the end for key English vocabulary that will help you navigate your own workplace journey. If you're learning English and love stories that teach real-life lessons, hit that subscribe button now to join our story-driven English community. The alarm blared at exactly 5:30 a.m. I jolted awake, my hand automatically reaching out to silence the annoying sound. For a moment I lay there in confusion, wondering why I had set my alarm so early. Then it hit me. Today was my first day, my new job. A wave of anxiety washed over me as I remembered the importance of the day ahead. I had finally landed a position at Wilson Marketing Agency, one of the most prestigious marketing firms in the city. After months of applications, interviews, and waiting, my dream had become a reality. My name is Alex Chen, a recent graduate, with a degree in marketing. For years I had admired Wilson Marketing from afar, following their innovative campaigns and creative strategies. When they offered me a junior marketing position, I could hardly believe my luck. Now, as the morning light filtered through my curtains, that excitement was quickly being replaced by nervous energy. I dragged myself out of bed and headed to the bathroom. Looking in the mirror, I noticed dark circles under my eyes, evidence of a restless night filled with dreams about oversleeping or showing up at the wrong building. I splashed cold water on my face, hoping to wash away both my fatigue and anxiety. The night before, I had meticulously prepared everything. My outfit, a navy blue suit, white shirt, and subtle patterned tie, hung on my closet door. I had polished my shoes until I could see my reflection in them. My backpack contained a brand new notebook, 3 pens in case 1 or 2 stopped working, my laptop, and a folder with copies of all my documents, even though I had already submitted them electronically. Perhaps I was being overly cautious, but I wanted to be ready for any situation. I had also studied the company's website and recent campaigns extensively, making notes on their clients and projects. I memorized the names of the department heads, and even researched my direct supervisor, Sarah Thompson. According to her LinkedIn profile, she had been with the company for 8 years, and had won several industry awards. The thought of meeting her made my stomach tighten with nervousness. After a quick shower, I got dressed, checking my appearance repeatedly in the full-length mirror. The suit fit well. I had purchased it specifically for the interviews, but I still felt like an imposter, playing dress-up. Would my colleagues see through my professional facade to the inexperienced graduate underneath? I adjusted my tie for the 5th time, and finally decided I looked acceptable. In the kitchen, I attempted to eat breakfast, but my appetite had vanished. I managed to force down a piece of toast and a banana, knowing I would need energy for the day. I made a strong cup of coffee, hoping the caffeine would sharpen my mind. As I sipped the hot liquid, I scrolled through emails on my phone, ensuring I hadn't missed any last-minute communications from the HR department. The clock read 6:45 a.m. My start time was 9 a.m., but I had planned to arrive by 8:30 to make a good impression. The office was a 40-minute subway ride away, plus a 10-minute walk. Even with extra time for potential delays, I had plenty of time. Still, anxiety gnawed at me. What if there was a major subway disruption? What if I got lost despite having practiced the route twice the previous week? I decided to leave even earlier than planned. Better to sit in a nearby cafe for an hour than risk being late. I gathered my belongings, double-checked that I had my building access card that had been mailed to me, and took one final look around my apartment before heading out. The morning air was crisp and refreshing. Few people were about at this early hour, giving the usually busy streets a peaceful quality. I walked to the subway station, my mind racing with thoughts about the day ahead. Would my teammates be friendly? Would the work be as challenging as I hoped? What if I couldn't handle, the pressure? I tried to push these questions aside and focus on positive thoughts, remembering the career counselor's advice. Act confident, even when you don't feel it. The subway car was relatively empty, allowing me to find a seat easily. I took out my phone and reviewed the welcome email from HR once more, confirming the office location, floor number, and my contact person, a human resources coordinator named Michael. The email stated that he would meet me in the lobby at 9:02 a.m. Despite having read this information numerous times, checking it again provided a small sense of comfort. As the subway rumbled along, I observed my fellow passengers, mostly early, morning workers with coffee cups in hand, their faces displaying varying degrees of Monday morning reluctance. I wondered if any of them were also heading to their first day at a new job, carrying the same mixture of excitement and fear that I felt. 40 minutes later, I emerged from the subway station into the heart of the financial district. Towering, glass buildings stretched toward the sky, their windows reflecting the morning sunlight. Among them stood the Wilson Marketing Building, 28 floors of gleaming architecture. I checked my watch. 7:50 a.m. I had more than an hour before my scheduled start time. I spotted a coffee shop across the street and decided to wait there. The cafe was busy with professionals grabbing their morning coffee, many dressed in suits, similar to mine. I ordered a small tea. More coffee would only increase my nervousness, and found a table by the window where I could see the entrance to my new workplace. While I sipped my tea, I reviewed some notes on my phone about recent Wilson marketing campaigns. Conversation turned to work during introductions. I wanted to be prepared to discuss their projects intelligently. Time passed more quickly than expected, and at 8:25 a.m., I gathered my belongings and headed across the street. The lobby of the building was impressive. High ceilings, marble floors, and modern art installations. I approached the security desk where a guard in a crisp uniform greeted me. "Good morning," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "My name is Alex Chen. It's my first day at Wilson Marketing on the 15th floor." The guard checked a list on his computer. "Yes, Mr. Chen, I see you here. They've left your permanent access card with us." He handed me a plastic card with my name and photo on it. "This will give you access to the building and the 15th floor. Please keep it with you at all times." I thanked him and clipped the card to my suit jacket. The simple act of receiving my official access card made my new position feel suddenly real. I headed to the elevators, my heart rate increasing with each step. Inside the elevator, I pressed the button for the 15th floor and took several deep breaths to calm myself. A few other people entered, engaged in casual Monday morning conversations. They seemed comfortable and confident, qualities I hoped to project despite my inner turmoil. When the elevator doors opened on the 15th floor, I was greeted by a large reception area with the Wilson Marketing logo prominently displayed on the wall. The space was modern and bright, with comfortable seating areas and digital screens showcasing the company's recent work. A friendly-looking woman sat behind the reception desk. "Good morning," she said as I approached. "How can I help you?" "Hi, I'm Alex Chen. It's my first day." My voice came out higher than intended and I cleared my throat. Her face lit up with recognition. "Of course, we've been expecting you. I'm Denise, the receptionist. You're quite early. It's not even 8:40 yet." I felt my face flush slightly. I wanted to make sure I wasn't late. "That's a great attitude," Denise said warmly. "Michael from HR isn't in yet, but I can show you to the break room where you can wait comfortably." She led me through a security door into the main office area. The space was open plan with clusters of desks, conference rooms with glass walls, and colorful collaborative areas. A few early workers were already at their desks, typing on computers or preparing for the day. Denise pointed out different departments as we walked through. "That's the creative team on the right, the designers, writers, and artists. On the left is the strategy department. Your marketing team is toward the back, near the windows with the city view." I tried to memorize the layout as we continued walking. Finally, we reached a large break room with kitchen facilities, comfortable seating, and more screens displaying company information and news. "Make yourself at home," Denise said. "There's coffee, tea, and some breakfast items. Michael usually arrives around 8:55, so you have some time to relax." After thanking her, I poured myself a glass of water and sat down, observing my surroundings. The break room gradually filled with employees arriving for the day. Most grabbed coffee and headed to their desks, while some stayed to chat with colleagues. I smiled politely when anyone looked my way, but remained quiet, not wanting to interrupt any conversations. At exactly 8:55 a.m., a young man in a well-tailored suit entered the break room and looked around. His eyes landed on me, and he approached. With an extended hand, "You must be Alex Chen. I'm Michael from Human Resources. Welcome to Wilson Marketing." I stood quickly, almost spilling my water, and shook his hand. "Yes, that's me. Thank you for having me." "You're early." "That's a great first impression," Michael said with an approving nod. "Let me take you on a proper tour before we handle the remaining paperwork." For the next 20 minutes, Michael led me around the office, explaining the different departments in more detail and introducing me to people we encountered along the way. I tried to remember everyone's names, but they quickly became a blur of friendly faces and handshakes. The office was larger than I had imagined, with various meeting spaces, project rooms, and even a small gym for employees. "And this," Michael said finally, "is the junior marketing team area where you'll be working." We approached a cluster of 6 desks arranged in a circle. 4 were occupied by young professionals who looked up as we arrived. "Everyone, this is Alex Chen, our new junior marketing associate," Michael announced. "Alex, meet your team, Emma, Tyler, Zoe, and Raj." They greeted me with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Emma, a woman with bright red hair and a friendly smile, stood up to shake my hand. "Welcome aboard," We've been short-staffed for weeks, so we're thrilled to have you," she said. Tyler, a man with glasses and a serious expression, nodded professionally. "Hope you're ready to hit the ground running. We've got 3 campaigns launching this month." Zoe and Raj offered quick hellos before returning to what seemed like an urgent discussion about a presentation. I noticed an empty desk that I assumed would be mine, and another that presumably belonged to someone who hadn't arrived yet. "This will be your workspace," Michael confirmed, gesturing to the empty desk I had spotted. "It's already set up with your computer and company email. Your direct supervisor, Sarah Thompson, should be here soon for your official onboarding. In the meantime, let's finish up some HR paperwork in my office." I followed Michael back to the HR department, where I spent the next hour signing documents, reviewing company policies, and setting up payroll information. By the time we finished, it was nearly 10:30 a.m. "Perfect timing," Michael said, checking his watch. "Sarah just messaged that she's ready for you. I'll walk you back to your department." When we returned to the marketing area, a woman in her mid-30s, with a confident posture, was waiting by my desk. She had short brown hair and wore a stylish blazer over a simple black dress. "Sarah, here's your new team member," Michael said before leaving us to talk. "Alex Chen," Sarah said, shaking my hand firmly. "Welcome to Wilson Marketing. I've heard good things from your interviewers." "Thank you for this opportunity," I replied, trying to match her professional tone. "I'm excited to be part of the team." Sarah nodded approvingly. "I appreciate enthusiasm, but at Wilson, we value results more than excitement. Let's sit in the small conference room, and I'll outline your first assignments." I followed her to a nearby meeting room, notebook in hand, determined to make a good impression. For the next 45 minutes, Sarah explained the current projects, client expectations, and my specific responsibilities. She spoke rapidly and used industry terminology that I recognized from my studies but had never applied in real-world situations. "You'll be supporting the team on the Sunglow Beverages campaign this week," Sarah concluded. "It's a major client launching a new line of health drinks. Emma will guide you through our process and share the necessary files. Do you have any questions?" I had dozens of questions swirling in my mind, but I didn't want to appear overwhelmed on my first day. "Not at the moment," I said, "but I'll come to you if anything arises as I get started." "Good. I have meetings for most of the day, but my calendar is visible to the team. Find an open slot if you need to talk." With that, Sarah stood and left the room, already checking messages on her phone. I returned to my desk where Emma waved me over. "How was your meeting with Sarah?" she asked. "Informative," I said diplomatically. Emma laughed. "That's a polite way of saying she gave you information overload. Don't worry, everyone feels that way at first. Sarah is brilliant but expects everyone to keep up with her pace. You'll adjust." "I hope so," I admitted, grateful for Emma's friendliness. "Let me show you how to access the shared drives and project management software," Emma offered. "Then I can walk you through the Sunglow campaign." Materials. For the next hour, Emma patiently explained the company's digital infrastructure, showing me where to find templates, brand guidelines, and project timelines. I took detailed notes, aware that I wouldn't remember everything immediately. "This is a lot to take in," I said after Emma demonstrated the 5th software program I would need to learn. It is, she agreed, but no one expects you to master everything on day one. The most important thing is knowing where to find information when you need it. Her reassurance helped ease some of my anxiety. As we reviewed the Sun Glow campaign files, I began to see how my theoretical knowledge from university could be applied to this real-world project. The campaign involved social media content, influencer partnerships, and outdoor advertising, areas I had studied extensively. For today, Emma explained, your task is to familiarize yourself with the brand voice and target audience. Then you can help me draft some social media posts for their product launch next week. How does that sound? Perfect, I said, relieved to have a clear assignment. I'll start reviewing the brand guidelines right away. As noon approached, the office became noticeably quieter. People began standing from their desks and forming small groups. It's lunchtime, Emma explained. Most of us either go out to nearby restaurants or eat in the break room. Want to join us today? The team usually eats together on Mondays. I'd love to, I replied, genuinely appreciative of the invitation. Emma gathered Tyler, Raj, and Zoe, and we headed to the elevator. There's a great sandwich place around the corner, she told me as we descended to the lobby. It's our Monday tradition. The restaurant was small but busy, clearly popular with office workers from surrounding buildings. We found a table in the corner, and my new colleagues helped me navigate the menu, pointing out their favorite items. I ordered a turkey sandwich, not wanting anything too messy on my first day. As we waited for our food, the conversation flowed naturally. They asked about my background, university experience, and how I had found the application process for Wilson Marketing. In turn, I learned more about them. Emma had been with the company for 3 years after switching careers from journalism. Tyler had joined just 6 months earlier from a competitor agency. Zoe had started as an intern and worked her way up, and Raj had a background in data analytics before moving to marketing. So, what's your impression so far? Zoe asked me as our sandwiches arrived. Everyone seems professional but friendly, I said honestly. The office is impressive, and the projects sound challenging in a good way. The workload can be intense, Raj warned, especially during campaign launches. But the experience is valuable. I've learned more in my 2 years here than in my entire degree program. Sarah pushes hard, Tyler added, but she also recognizes good work. Impress her, and you'll go far. Any advice on how to do that? I asked, taking a bite of my sandwich. They exchanged glances before Emma spoke. Be thorough. Sarah hates careless errors. Double-check everything before sending it to her. And speak up in meetings, Zoe added. She respects people who contribute ideas, even if they're not perfect. But make sure those ideas are well thought out, Tyler cautioned. She has no patience for suggestions that waste time. Their insights were helpful, but also increased my nervousness about working directly with Sarah. As we continued eating, the conversation shifted to office dynamics, client stories, and funny incidents from past projects. I listened attentively, absorbing the office culture and unwritten rules. After lunch, we returned to the office, and I settled at my desk to review the Sun Glow brand guidelines. The document was extensive, covering tone of voice, color usage, typography, and target audience personas in detail. I took notes on the key points, particularly the brand's emphasis on natural ingredients and wellness, without being preachy or exclusive. Around 2:30 p.m. Emma stopped by my desk. "How's it going with the brand review?" "Good," I replied. "I think I understand their positioning and voice. They want to appear authentic and accessible, not like some of the more elite health brands." Emma nodded approvingly. "Exactly. Now, are you ready to try drafting some social posts? We need 10 options for the product launch, focusing on the 3 main flavors." She shared a template document where I could input my ideas, along with a folder of product images I could reference. For the next hour, I crafted potential social media posts, trying to capture the brand's voice while highlighting the product benefits. Some came easily, while others required multiple revisions before they felt right. At 4 p.m. I had completed 8 draft posts and was working on the final 2 when Emma returned. "How are those posts coming along?" "Almost finished," I said, feeling proud of my progress. "Would you like to review what I have so far?" "Sure, let's take a look." I shared my screen with her, scrolling through the draft posts. Emma read each one carefully, occasionally nodding or making small suggestions. When we reached the 6th post, she paused. "This one mentions that the green vitality flavor has 0 artificial ingredients. That's actually incorrect. It's the only flavor that contains a synthetic sweetener. The others are all natural." My heart sank. "I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood the product information." "It's an easy mistake," Emma assured me. "The product lineup changed last month, and some of the older materials haven't been updated. This is why we always fact-check against the most recent product sheets." She showed me where to find the updated product information in the shared drive. "Always use this folder labeled Final for the most current details." I quickly corrected the error and finished the remaining posts with renewed attention to accuracy. Despite Emma's understanding response, I felt disappointed in myself for making such a mistake on my first assignment. At 4:45 p.m., Emma suggested we review the completed posts together before the end of the day. "These are quite good for your first attempt," she said after reading through all 10. "You've captured the brand voice well, and most of these would need only minor tweaks before going to the client. Just remember the importance of fact-checking every claim, especially with food and beverage clients where ingredients matter." "I'll be more careful next time," I promised. "We all make mistakes," Emma said kindly. "What matters is learning from them. Tomorrow, we'll refine these posts and start working on the influencer briefing materials." As 5 p.m. approached, people around the office began packing up their belongings. Some left promptly, while others continued working, apparently engaged in urgent tasks. I wasn't sure what was expected of me regarding working hours. "Most people leave between 5 and 5:30, Emma explained when she noticed my uncertainty. "Unless there's a pressing deadline. Your official hours are 9 to 5, but there's flexibility as long as you complete your work." "Thanks for the clarification," I said, beginning to organize my desk for the next day. Just then, Sarah emerged from a meeting room and stopped by our area. "How was day 1, Alex?" she asked. "Very informative," I replied. "Emma has been incredibly helpful, and I've started work on the Sunglow social media content." "Good. Emma's one of our strongest team members. Learn as much as you can from her. Sarah turned to Emma. Can I see what drafts you've prepared so far? Emma shared my draft post with Sarah, who reviewed them quickly but thoroughly. Her expression remained neutral as she read, occasionally nodding slightly. Not bad for a first day, she said finally. The tone is generally appropriate, though posts 3 and 7 are too formal for their platform. Review and rework those. Tomorrow. Also, make sure all health claims are properly sourced and vetted by legal before they go to the client. I will, I promised, grateful that she hadn't mentioned my earlier factual error. Either Emma hadn't told her, or Sarah had chosen not to bring it up. With a brief nod, Sarah continued to her office, already focusing on her next task. That's high praise coming from Sarah, Emma whispered once she was out of earshot. She rarely comments on first drafts unless they need major revisions. Her words lifted my spirits. Perhaps I wasn't doing as badly as I feared. By 5:15 p.m., most of the team was preparing to leave. I shut down my computer, organized my notes for the next day, and gathered my belongings. As I stood to put on my jacket, I felt a strange mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. The day had been mentally taxing but also engaging in ways my university coursework never had been. Ready to head out? Emma asked, waiting by my desk. We walked to the elevator together, joined by several other colleagues from different departments. The conversation turned to evening plans and a popular TV show that had aired the previous night. The casual atmosphere was a stark contrast to the focused work environment of just minutes before. In the lobby, we said our goodbyes, and I headed toward the subway station. The evening air felt refreshing after a day in the climate-controlled office. As I walked, I reflected on the events of the day, the introductions, the new information, the small success of my first assignment, and even the mistake I had made. Each experience, positive or challenging, had contributed to my growth. On the subway ride home, I sent a quick message to my parents and best friend, letting them know I had survived my first day. Their encouraging responses brought a smile to my face. Despite my earlier anxieties, I had made it through day 1 at Wilson Marketing. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but also new opportunities to learn and prove myself. When I reached my apartment, I changed out of my suit into comfortable clothes and prepared a simple dinner. As I ate, I reviewed my notes from the day, trying to solidify the new information in my mind. There was so much to learn: company procedures, client details, team dynamics, and software systems. The learning curve would be steep, but I felt more confident now than I had that morning. Before going to bed, I laid out my outfit for the next day. Slightly less formal than today's suit, following the example of my teammates. I set my alarm, this time for 6 a.m. rather than 5:30, having better gauged the morning commute time. As I lay in bed that night, my mind replayed moments from the day: Sarah's direct feedback, Emma's kindness, the team lunch conversation, the satisfaction of completing my first assignment. The anxiety that had kept me awake the previous night had been replaced by a tired but content feeling of accomplishment. I had taken the first step in my professional journey, and while the path ahead would undoubtedly include both successes and setbacks, I felt ready to face them. My first day at Wilson Marketing had taught me valuable lessons beyond marketing strategies and brand guidelines. I had learned about office dynamics, the importance of attention to detail, and how to recover from mistakes. Most importantly, I had learned that I could handle the challenges of professional life, even when they seemed overwhelming at first. With these thoughts, I drifted off to sleep, already dreaming of day 2 and the opportunities it would bring. Key vocabulary, repeated throughout agency. A business that provides services to other companies, especially in marketing or advertising campaign. A planned series of activities or events for a specific purpose, like promoting a product. Colleagues, people who work together in a professional environment. Department, a division of a company that handles specific functions or responsibilities. Guidelines, official recommendations or rules that indicate how something should be done. Onboarding. Proceso, the process of integrating a new employee into an organization. Supervisor, a person who oversees and directs the work of others. Brand voice, the distinctive personality and style of communication used by a company. Target audience, the specific group of people that a product, service, or message is intended for. Deadline, the latest time or date by which something should be completed. Draft, a preliminary version of a document or piece of writing. Fact check, to verify the accuracy of information before publishing or sharing. Networking, building relationships with others for professional purposes. Professional, relating to or connected with a job that requires special training or education. Feedback, information about reactions to a product, person's performance, etc., used as a basis for improvement. Thank you for joining me through this journey of my first day at a new job. If you found this story helpful for your English learning, please hit the like button to help others discover it too. Have you had a similar experience at your first job? Share your story in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Story Driven English for a new engaging story every week that will help build your vocabulary and improve your listening skills. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our newest uploads. Until next time, keep practicing your English through stories.